Well, hello, 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 and welcome, my Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. Welcome to your new moon to full moon reading for February into March 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons Mal for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and very, very happy to be serving you today, my Scorpions. Hope you are well. If you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. I'm getting ever so much closer to reaching my YouTube goals with your help. So please do like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, the whole 9 yards, because I'm the fun one, and I'm putting out really, really cool content. At least I think so, and a lot of my friends think so, and a lot of my clients think so. So come on board. We're expecting you. The love boat. Let's have some fun with this reading. We are doing a new moon to full moon next reading, but the tickle in the tushy on this one, my Scorps, is that it's also during a Mercury retrograde, and the Mercury retrograde goes direct the day of full moon, which is March 9th. So very interesting to be in a waxing phase while also having to sort of backtrack and look at things mentally and review things, you know, in all different places of our lives. So that's why I thought, well, I asked my guides. They were like, yeah, we're going to do something different for these reads. I'm not even calling them a what do I need read, which is what I usually do for new moon to full moon and full moon to new moon. Rather, we're going to be looking at things. I guess, what do I need? But what do I need to look at? What do I need to readdress? What do I need to reinvestigate, reevaluate, that sort of deal? So we're only doing 8 cards, but 5 of which will be the element spread: fire, earth, air, water, spirit. I'll explain it as we go. What I really need you all to do is keep 2 things in mind. Number 1, it's a general read. It's not going to fit everybody all the time. That's why I do Sun, Moon, Rising, and in this case, Mercury signs. Usually I don't do anything other than Sun, Moon, or Rising for full moon to new moon. But because there's something interesting about this Mercury retrograde, that it goes direct with full moon in Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, right? So there's something there about manifestation when it's going to do that in an earth sign. I am a Virgo, so I can feel that. I can't put my finger on it. It's a feeling. I can't call it out exactly what it is, but there's definitely that feeling of a slingshot, right? Like we're being pulled back, and then it's going to really slingshot into some sort of manifestation. Virgo is mutable earth. It could be a lot of physical change, right? So that being said, that's number 1. The other one, please remember to breathe. Breathing consciously, deliberately throughout a reading, throughout yoga, throughout anything, throughout your cats just doing ridiculous things in front of you, keeps you in the present moment. While I'm doing the reading, it keeps me attuned to the divine guidance and grace of my pantheons. What are you guys doing over there? They're like right out of my sight, but I can see something's going on. Boys. Motherhood just never ends. But the more that I can breathe during the reading, the more I'm connecting to that still point in the present moment where the divine resides, bringing forth the guidance and grace for these readings. And if you are doing the same, you are tuning to the same present moment, even though we're separated by time and space, into that delightful, delicious, lovely, still point of the now and the divine. Oh, they're just playing with cat toys. It's a feather on a stick toy. Got it. It's their favorite thing. So please pardon the background noise. Cats will be cats, particularly black cats, witch cats. Let's dive in. We're going to start with the Daughters of the Moon. That's the other. We're going to start with Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue, just to get one overlighting angelic message from my pantheons of angels to kind of say this is really the main theme for this new moon to full moon next that you need, because it is a what do I need read, that you need to look at, to address, to integrate, to think about, to embrace in some way, shape, or form. Cool? Let's take a nice deep breath. Still point. My angels, yeah, I know. My angels, please. 1 card in clarity for the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this new moon in Pisces to full moon next in Virgo, considering the Mercury retrograde and everything. What is the Healing with the Angel Oracle card that this Scorpio collective would most benefit in re-looking at, readdressing, re-embracing, keeping in mind while they overlook and look over all aspects of life that are presented to them. Thank you so much, my angels. Let's see what the angels have to say. Who'd they give you? The angel of freedom. All right, so where are you in chains? Where are you in chains of your own making? Savvy. That he's up on the altar. Cats. No, don't free me from my cats. I adore them. But, well, he's having a free day. He's just breaking rules. You get down from there, Savvy. Don't look at me like you're not doing nothing. He's gonna be what? I'm not supposed to drink out of the holy water bowl? Breaking through constraints like my cats are apparently, but what are the beliefs? So I have Mercury retrograde, air planet. What are the beliefs? Are you willing to see beyond your ideas, beliefs, conclusions, conceptions, that this is just the way things are? Now, I know a lot of Scorpios. My brother is a Scorpio. I grew up with that vibe in the house that y'all can be a little emotionally fixed on things, but usually a little bit more open-minded, right? Particularly if it's like hidden information, occult information. Occult just means hidden, by the way. Everybody gets so upset about that word. O-C-C-U-L-T, not A space C-U-L-T, right? But that deep, hidden, mysterious stuff you guys are into, most water signs are, so regardless of your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Mercury sign, there is an opportunity for you to free yourself from some limitations, most likely in the mind, mental, but we'll see. That's why we're going to take 5 Daughters of the Moon Tarot. Oh, did I say all the decks that I read are in the description box at the bottom? I always do that. I put them at the bottom, so you have to look at the other cool stuff on the way if you want to see what the decks are all about. Links to all of them. I'm not partnered with anybody yet to make any money off of them, but I guess I will eventually. I really need an assistant to do all this paperwork for me. That being said, let's get down to it. Fire, Earth, Air, Water, Spirit from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. I'll call out the positions as they hit the table. But we're looking at the voices of my gods and goddesses, the collective divine masculine, the collective divine feminine. So let's take a couple of nice deep breaths for this one. Oh, I felt good. Still point. My goddesses and gods, please. The element spread for this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this new moon in Pisces to full moon next in Virgo, Mercury retrograde and all. Please, I need the element spread here for this Scorpio collective. First, 1, fire. What is the desire they need to reevaluate, readdress? Earth, what is it that they have that they need to reassess? Perhaps reestablish their connection with, their awareness of. What's going on in their element of air? What are the thoughts, the belief systems that I saw what that was, but that's okay. That was a clear kick that kicked out, that they need to re-examine and rethink. And what is the emotion? What are the feelings, the emotions that might be repressed or forgotten that need to be re-embraced, re-experienced? There we go, the element of water. And what's going on in their element of spirit, the point of view of the voice of their eternal soul that's sort of guiding and witnessing their way through this new moon to full moon next, Mercury retrograde. All right, we got our cards on the table. Let's have a look. What's your element of fire? Keeping in mind that freedom is the overlighting energy that the celestials, the angels are saying. This is all about freedom somehow, so keep your eye on the freedom. All right. Well, what it is that you want is the 3 of Blades, focus. Now, I know the 3 of Swords in the traditional tarot, it looks like heartbreak. I always took issue with that because the heart isn't actually broken, and heartbreak would definitely be more of a water card than an air card. Swords are air, cups are water, so it'd be a cup card, right? 4 cups, right? Something, the cup spilled over. That feels a lot more like heartbreak to me. I've always felt that to mean focus, which is the name of this card. Focus, mind over emotion, or introspection, or getting to the heart of the matter, which isn't that what focus is all about, getting to the heart of the matter. So I like that idea of the 3 swords converging into the heart, but the heart isn't broken or even cracked, right? So it's like whoop, air, whoop, focusing into the heart of the matter. Now, if that's really what you want in terms of your desires for focus, then you're right on track. Scorpio is a fixed sign, so you think fixed water, but imagine that fixed focus in terms of desire, saying that I really need to focus on my desires. I really have to focus on not just what I want, which is half the equation, but why I want it, because there may be some elements of freedom in there. Okay, thank you, my gods. This is a really good way of looking at that. Like, everybody wants money. Everybody wants more money. Even people with billions of dollars still want more money. But what we really want is the feeling of freedom, right? That having that kind of money gives us. Now, of course, you have to work for that money, you have to manage it. Sometimes a lot of money, and I've worked with a lot of wealthy people, I grew up with wealthy people in my life. Sometimes those monies become really chains, right? Because they have to act a certain way around certain people, right? They have to perform to keep that money going, to keep that stable. So chains can have dollar signs on them as well, but that's a really good example in terms of really investigating, focusing on what it is that you want in terms of freedom. Let's look at your element of earth, what you have. What is it that you have that you need to look at? Didn't I just say 4 cups? Now, this deck is called Sorrow. To me, this is more the grief, the heartbreak card, but need not have to be all in the sadness end of it, like the mourning, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. This can be just about emotional release, and honestly, a big old belly laugh works just as well for me in this card. It's about really emotions that have been ebbing and flowing, finally really flowing, and there's an amount of purification here, keeping in mind that the 4s are usually numbers of rest and stability. This can be really an emotional detox of sorts, and your ability to feel things differently. Now, I have a policy. I can let everyone in the world know what I'm going through on social media. You know, people ask me, but no one needs to witness it. I am a Virgo with a Pisces moon, so I am, in a way, very private about my emotions. Even though I'm a Leo rising, I tell people about them, right? So this is something that, you know, you can find the freedom to feel what you're feeling emotionally, not to get it out of your system, but to honor those feelings, to let them have their emotional arc. Because Scorpios, you're good at keeping things hidden, but do you keep it so well hidden that you're unaware of what it is that you're feeling underneath, deeper down? And so when you get tired, when you get retrograded, it comes out like a demon, and people are like, what the hell happened to you? Meanwhile, it's stuff going back to kindergarten, right? So cumulative emotional baggage, which everybody has. So just keep that in mind, that this focus here in the element of fire is really balanced with some sort of emotional freedom, right? We're looking through the lens of freedom here, to free yourself up perhaps from some emotional ties that bind, even if they're all completely self-created. And those are better, because then, you know, you don't have to involve other people. They can be about other people, but you can really call upon the divine to help free you from this stuff. Prayer, meditation, spiritual path, etc. Spiritual practice as well. Since this is a Mercury retrograde, Mercury being an air planet, let's look what's going on in the mental field. Yeah, this is the card that jumped. The card of the Fool. So the mind is in that place of the 0. Last card of the major arcana is the World. In this deck, it's Shakti, the life dancer. The first card in the major arcana is the Magician. In this deck, it is the Witch. So this is the dreamer, the fool, the 0, the gap between the worlds, right? The space between the worlds, between the end of the old and the before you hit the new cycle. You have that all-encompassing void, right? The pregnant void, the infinite probabilities within the 0, right? Anything can happen. Very much the dreamer, but understandable as the fool prepares to take a leap into the unknown with the new cycle. So the mind here does feel like it can be open-minded, that focusing on freedom to have the feelings that need to have, but be open-minded. Like, for example, all right, let's go there. If you consider yourself a divine feminine, first waver, empath, energy sensitive, any of that kind of stuff, then you might very well be feeling the energies of those around you, the emotions of those around you, and because the temperature, so to speak, is so high on the planet, stuff is boiling to the surface all over the place, you might be feeling things for the collective. So we actually have to feel this stuff to heal this stuff. So not everything you're feeling there, be open to the idea that I'm not just healing this stuff for myself, I'm healing it for all of humanity and perhaps all of life, right? because we are just one quantum field. So the divine is certainly going to orchestrate the healing of this world through those who are available, emotionally available, particularly if they're in a space where they are safe to feel things and they're not going to act on them. Like, so if you are feeling, let's just say, intense sorrow, as this card says, grief, no, if you can learn that grief is love that doesn't know how to express itself because the object of love has disappeared through death, divorce, or distance, then you can get, all right, then I'm going to love this emotion and let it pour through me, but no one needs to see it. Nobody needs to know I'm doing this. Maybe I'll talk to it if I feel like, talk to someone about it if I feel like it, or maybe I will post it online. But that is the freedom to feel and do with those emotions as I see fit. Just make sure that you're staying open-minded about it, and that you are within your own personal honor code, that your conduct is in alignment with your highest wisdom and highest truth. So we've got some water going on here. It's not a preponderance, it's just one card out of 3. So, but let's see, since it is the 4 of Cups, what's going on in your emotional field. All right, you've got the 8 of Pentacles, Earth. 8 of Pentacles is really putting your head down and getting to work, right? In this deck, it's the learner. The crone is teaching the maiden how to weave blankets. And in the foreground over here, sorry, in the, well, I guess it's the background coming this way, right? It is the blankets, right? Like what it is that this crone has done for the majority of her life. She's passing on her skills, but through physical contact, right? Through actually learning how to do something that, you can read a book on weaving blankets, but there's nothing like taking the thread and actually learning how to do it hands-on. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge plus usually tactile experience equals wisdom. Wisdom is often hard earned and often hard learned, right? So there are definite emotional lessons here for you. For all of us. I mean, the pressure on the planet, the stress on the planet, right? All these meds people are on, and God bless, may they serve, may they heal. But that's because the speed of things has picked up, the intensity has picked up. There's more people on the planet, I believe, that have ever been, at least in recorded history. So there's a lot, you know, for us empaths, it's a little tricky, sticky. So there's a learning curve here for all of us. But if you can get, oh, there's a tactile lesson. I am the learner. I'm actually learning something through this. I'm being taught. They're saying flip the card of the soul. The Libra card, the point of view of the soul. This is in one-on-one relationships. I'm learning things. So it's like when people trigger us, let's just say you're in a one-on-one relationship. Well, we're all in one-on-one relationships with someone in some way. Need not be romantic, sexual, right? We'll see what other cards hit the table. But someone triggers you. Well, it's your trigger, right? You're like, oh my God, they actually pulled the pin of a hand grenade that's been in me since, what, 5th grade, right? Oh, wow, I'm learning. I'm learning so much about myself because none of us were given the psychological structure and safety to feel all of our feelings to completion as children. I don't care when you were born. I mean, unless you were born with the sort of that, then why the hell are you getting a reading, right? I don't know anybody who has it like that, at least in my age range, a little above, a little below. Well, certainly nobody above. So there is something here about emotional freedom, and I would recommend the emotional freedom technique, EFT. You can Google it. There are lots of videos on it. It's energy tapping. That's what I mean. It's like you might actually learn something from this that's physically tactile. I've had massages that were so good and the energy was so right that actually as they were pushing through me, emotions would come up. And I have brilliant healers that I've worked with that are like, cry it out, you know, face down, and they go, cry it out, let it go. It's like emotional exorcism. So yeah, whatever the seventh house lessons you are learning here about partnership, marriage, and the shadow self. Maybe there's some emotional shadow in there. Maybe your inner child is throwing a little bit of a tantrum or is just heartbroken, needs to be held, needs to be heard, needs to be loved. These emotions need more love, not less, but they're not allowed to drive the show. And if they do drive the show, there's always regret, and that's why we repress our feelings even more, letting the child run rampant in us rather than just loving it, taking care of it, letting it express its emotion in a safe way. We got 2 more cards left that will hopefully elucidate this for you, give you a little more data for this new moon to full moon, next Mercury retrograde and all. We're going to turn to the Whispers of Love Oracle, the voices of the higher selves. Nice deep breath, please. still point. The higher selves have all involved. I feel you. Please, one card. Just one, in clarity, for this Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign. For this new moon to a full moon next, February to March 2020. Mercury going direct on that full moon. Please, higher selves of all involved. One whisper of love. A piece of your higher self guidance and grace for this Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign. Let's see what you got. Get to know each other. With that Libra. They really just went right for it, did they? Get to know each other. Learning to meet another's need for love is important for a relationship to grow. And by the way, that doesn't immediately indicate that this is somebody new in your life. We're all growing. We're all evolving. This world that we have incarnated in is gonna do everything it can to make sure we become who we are supposed to become in this life, through hard knocks, through grace, through guidance, through lessons, through pain and suffering, as well as bliss and ecstatic joy. But our relationships, particularly the one-on-one relationships, can be the ones that really drive home our deepest, hardest lessons. Letting go, acceptance, approval, love of ourself, all of that stuff. But with get to know each other, even if you've known each other for decades, it may be time to sit down and like a retrograde, let's reunite. Even though we live together, right? Even though we see each other often, even though we're always in touch, let's really sit down and get to know each other. Where are you? Getting to know, meet another's need for love, right? What is it that you need? What is it that I need? As well as finding that out for yourself, right? And expressing that in a safe, perhaps even confidential manner. Last card down, we're going to get from the Ascended Masters, one of the Matt Kahn Healing Mantra cards from the Healing Mantra deck, as a mental exercise, as a verbal pattern to integrate, to kind of signal to the soul from your personality that you are ready to do this in a healing way, right? These cards are so amazing. One side is the mantra, the other side is the name of the mantra, so I can look it up in ye little bookie book to get you the extra paragraph of information that Matt wrote. He's really cool. By the way, I don't get any kickbacks from doing this. I just really love his work, and this deck has been very helpful, right? So let's do this. Nice deep breath. Still point. My Ascended Masters, that was so sweet. Please, one card in clarity for this Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign. For this new moon in Pisces to full moon next in Virgo, Mercury going direct at that full moon. What is the best, most powerful, most truly, truly helpful healing mantra for the Scorpio collective during this time, through this retrograde, this Mercury retrograde? So tricky to communicate, to see things clearly, please. So what's the healing mantra most beneficial for them to get them through this wisely and well? Thank you, my masters. Who'd you get? Resolving anger. Now, is there anything here that screams anger in this deck so far? I'm going to say no, because this water card doesn't have that same bit of fire in it, and there's, well, fire we usually associate with anger, and there are no fire cards. In fact, you have two air cards, one earth, one water, and one spirit, major arcana card. But oftentimes when our freedom is blocked, it's a blockage of power. Like the energy is supposed to be flowing freely this way, and it hits a block. It starts off as irritation, frustration, impatience, but if you don't deal with it, it goes into anger, and if you don't deal with it, it turns into rage and revenge, and it can be very scorpionic, and if not dealt with and expressed, it's turned inward, becomes depression. Like anger turned inward, eventually becomes depression. So resolving anger, very, very powerful thing for a retrograde, particularly, you ready for the mantra? Conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself, right? So resolving anger, conflict reminds me of when I need more space for myself. So there's a retrograde for you. I need to pull back. Yes, this is about my relationships, but if I'm triggered, I really need to focus on what it is that I want. What it is that I want. Well, do I want to be in this relationship anymore? Do I want a better relationship? Do I want to heal? Do I... all of that. Because what you have are these emotions, and perhaps they, like a Scorpio, have been hidden, have been pent up, and are perhaps starting to leak out around the sides, which a retrograde can do, right? In your mental, though, there's an open-mindedness here. There's a willingness to take the risk, to see things differently from a new perspective. But I'm hearing very clearly it has to be arrived in your own way. Like, other people can tell you whatever, not feeling that your mind is so totally open with that because of this card freedom. It's like, no, I'm going to find my own way through this. Now, I suggested the emotional freedom technique. It works for me, but you may you have to find what works for you. There are so many things that work and so many things that don't work for me, right? Like, so we're all on that journey to find resonance that way, and understand that emotionally you are the learner. So even though you've been feeling your emotions your whole life and dealing with them, repressing them, expressing them, being possessed by them, healing them, that whole 9 yards, there's something here that there are still lessons to be learned. And if you can really mentally see it as, okay, all right, a whole new thing, let's do this. If it's for my well-being and for the well-being of all, and I'm actually contributing to the healing of the planet, let's do that. But really, it's being delivered, your soul says, through one-on-one relationships. So get to know each other in your one-on-one relationships. Reevaluate. Well, how are you doing? No, how you doing? Right? Hey, how you doing? Right? And for the anger and conflict that comes up, conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. Really, really, really good reading. My Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. May you find the freedom that you need, and may the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs be blessed with all that they truly, truly need. This new moon in Pisces to full moon in Virgo, as Mercury goes direct to full moon in Virgo. Wow, I might need another cup of coffee. Wishing you all the very best and the very blessed of all of this. But for now, my darlings, my Scorpios, hail, farewell, and blessed be.